Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. I'm a little bit under the weather, I think. I marched, well, on Sunday we built the float for the Democratic, Kingwood Democrats. The president called us up to go ahead and start building out all these things. So I was out in all that crud, you know, the weeds and all that kind of stuff, putting it together. Then went ahead and went to finish building it yesterday early in the morning and went through the parade. So I was on my feet for probably 6 continuous hours and marched a couple of miles for the parade, inhaling gas, inhaling just about everything. And then I got sort of a cough. So I think it sort of just has me feeling kind of cruddy right now. Little phlegm in the nose, little phlegm in the throat. But I don't think it's COVID. Do I need to test? I'm not going to test quite yet because no fever, none of those things. I don't want to, I'm not into testing for the sake of testing. But anyhow, welcome aboard. Bridge MCP says something is up. Nope, just had my video going before I should have had my video going, and that's why there was no sound, etc., etc., etc. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys all for being here. All right, Michael Rodden says, I came home from the podiatrist. Do you really want to know the details? You bet your life we want to know the details, Mr. Rudnin. I'll just leave it at that. No, we want to know the details. You're a part of the posse, bro. Meantime, let me repeat yesterday's commentary. Okay, let me go through that real fast because we got a lot of videos for you today. The Verge. The Supreme Court just gutted a major EPA policy tool the U.S. Might have used to tackle climate change. Its decision today on West Virginia's Environmental Protection Agency essentially says that the EPA shouldn't be allowed to determine whether the U.S. gets its electricity from clean or dirty sources of energy. That derails previous efforts by agencies to transition the U.S. away from fossil fuels like wind, solar, by regulating all that. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but one of the issues there is that they can still regulate individual companies one at a time. What they can't do is regulate an industry like coal and say we are not going to use coal anymore because it's just too damn dirty. You have to prove each individual coal plant is dirty. I mean, it's just a mess. Let's see. Michael Running also. So Jezebel says, a 10-year-old girl in Ohio was forced to travel to Indiana for an abortion. Child abuse rape victim can't get local abortion services. Sounds like a fictional dystopian plot, but it's happening right now in post-Roe America. That occurred as well in Wisconsin, in South Dakota, where Kristi Noel is the governor, and she said, "Oh, it hurts my feeling, but that's the law." Wow. All right, let's see what else Rudin has to say in that. Republicans have called pregnancy from rape an opportunity, while Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson openly acknowledged and declined to do anything about the fact that his state's ban could force child rape victims to give birth. Yes, he said so. I think I covered that on one of my videos. Only took 3 days after this draconian Republican law went into effect for a case like this spring up, and I assure you there will be more like it being unreported. This is what happens when Republicans scapegoat and get conservatives to kick down. Hey, conservatives, are you proud of yourselves? Do you want to try to defend this? Now, imagine Republicans get control of Congress and the White House. They'll make abortion federally illegal throughout the country. That's a shame. Bridge MCP says, yes, details. So if I ask you for details, Mr. Rednan, and Bridge MCP asks you for details, I think we will be waiting for your details. Egberto, I found some interesting, some more news YouTube comments that I hope you read out from EHCKS Argentus. It doesn't matter when a person becomes a person. If anyone is inside your body and you don't want them to be there, you have the right to remove them by all means necessary. But the people against abortion are also trying to reinstate child marriage law and remove spousal rape laws. So we can see they don't care about that either. From David Taylor, the GOP, we want to reduce abortions. Everyone. Oh, okay, so you must be in favor of subsidized child care, child tax benefits, sex ed, contraceptive availability, and support for pregnant women and new parents. The GOP says no. And from Frozen Wolf 150, just drives a state where it's still legal, has the same energy as just sell your flooded home to Aquaman. Oh, that last topic I prefer to talk about, logistics and economics, noting that from some people, this would be a 2-day weekend excursion that they have to pay for, of course. Many of these Americans have jobs and run 6 days a week, meaning they'd have to schedule an off day with their boss if possible. So much would be poor persons required to save to get out of state abortion as part of a medical vacation. It's an economic issue as well, folks. Reminder, roughly 2/3 of people in the country are so deep in debt that they can't afford $400 emergency. This is just piling on. Yes, they are. All right, May Wood, welcome aboard. Michael Rudnin, welcome aboard. Replying to British Cheese, ingrown toenail, section of toenail removed, embedded toenail in flesh removed, minor surgical procedure, walking with a limp. That thou enough details for you. That's good details, but we know you're going to take care of yourself going forward. Make sure to not get it infected, brother. Yeah, had done, Joy Rapture. Julie Henderson says, research 17th Amendment. Will do so. I forgot what the 17th Amendment is. Please enlighten us, my dear Julie. Paul Fleming Jr. says, hey, folks, if you're on YouTube, please give us that thumbs up. We need those thumbs up to get the algorithm pushing this stuff out. And likewise, if you are on Facebook, please give us that like. We are so far low on participation. All right, Paul Fleming says, ATL checking in. Thank you for being here, Paul. Tom C says, in the house without AC, that's okay. Doing our part to save energy and the planet by cooling off with fans and dehumidifiers. Well, the dehumidifiers kind of work if you have dry air that, whenever you evaporate the air, you get a drop in temperature. That works great. Doesn't work very well in Houston where you don't get the evaporation that you need to actually get that temperature drop. But hey, what can I say? Bridge MCP says, hey all, no AC. Ugh. Maywood says, how was everyone's 4th? I had a great 4th. I went, in fact, you know what I should do? I'm excited about some of our pictures of the 4th. So, I'll be kind of like, hey guys, we had some people on the 4th, folks. When we were building the floats in the beginning, right? They were saying things like, I don't feel it this year. The Republicans have us not feeling like celebrating the 4th, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I got pretty upset. I said, this is our country. We don't let anybody, cop to the belief that they are more Americans than we are. We don't allow that. We do not allow that at all. So in that light, here is that float we built 10 years ago, that one with the Kingwood Area Democrats. At that time, I was the president of the Kingwood Area Democrats. And in real conservative Kingwood, Texas, we won. Those people, Mark, forgot Mark's last name, was a designer, builder of this stuff. He did a hell of a job. We won that float. But you know what else we did yesterday? Oh, I thought I had it. I thought I had the script. Oh, there it is for yesterday. This is our float yesterday in the parade. I'm going to give a few pictures. That is me hanging out with Cindy, and that's a float behind us. And you see how we looked at the back. And again, this is in red area. This is as we built the float. So we were busy doing all this stuff, right? Getting out there and getting things done. All the folks out there working our butts off until we got our float completed. And I thought I had another picture of the float, but I'll give you guys that some other time. I just wanted to kind of give a 4th of July, what we did on 4th of July. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of what we got through for the 4th of July. Okay, continuing with my beautiful folks here. We have E2247 says, hello, relatives. Today's visit is going to be the greatest ever, as he always tells us. Thank you so kindly. You know why today's day is going to be the greatest visit? Because all of you are here. That's why it's going to be the greatest visit. Folks, if you are just getting onto YouTube, please remember to give us that thumbs up. If you're on Facebook Live, please remember to give us that like. Okay, let's see what else we got here. 2247 says it's true. Or is it the, whoa, I don't know what that word is. There are 856 windows in the U.S. Capitol. Only 12 weren't reinforced. The coup knew exactly which one of those were, and I don't know if that's true or not. You can research that and then come back to us and let us know. Michael Renner says, Julie, 17th Amendment, 2 senators per state, details about how states sort out how they are replaced in the event of death or impeachment. I didn't remember that one. Actually, I knew it, but I didn't remember it. I think that's the one that also gave, it's a popular election for the Senate, right? Was that it? Okay, meaning it wasn't appointed at that point. It became a popular election, I believe. Run down, Paul tired. Yes. Me too, Bridge. Run down and Paul tired. Courtney says, oh no, I hope you're not sick, Egberto. I don't think I am. I feel good enough to do this stuff with enough energy. You know I like to make sure I have energy in the show. So I've got the energy. I don't know what's my throughput. Bruce Powder said, tests are free. Do it, please. Yep. If I don't clear up tomorrow, I'll do it. All right, let's see what goes on now. Bridge MCP says, hola, you've been a while. Bruce says he is a foot soldier. Yes, all of us are foot soldiers. All of us are foot soldiers in many different forms. By the way, Bruce, one of yesterday, I think it was April, and Cindy asked about your wife participating with Mothers something. And I told him, yes, that your wife was participating in that. All right, Courtney says, Bridge MCP, it's hard to catch the live show. I hope you've been doing all right. Bridge is always doing all right. By the way, Bridge, on the 3rd, I'm taking a train from Baltimore to, it's a 5-hour train from Baltimore, and it had to do with getting flights that lined up perfectly because I'm going to only be a day in that city that I told you about. I don't remember the name. Reinhardt. I'll only be there for 1 day. So I take the train to from Baltimore to New York, to Reinhardt, New York, and I get there like 3-something in the afternoon or whatever, sometime around there. And then I come back the Friday on a late train so that I can get my flight. I think my flight is, 7, 8 o'clock at night or something like that. But I'll let you know a little bit better when it's all hammered down. Michael Renner says, coal, the dirtiest energy source, will not be phased out because of its ruling. Global warming is an accelerating existential threat. Our civilization is barreling straight towards. Our nation continues to lag behind, no longer a world leader, and the damage is already having consequences. All right, Julie Henderson says, Plymouth, Massachusetts, closed nuclear, wants to dump nuclear waste in Cape. What? You cannot dump nuclear waste in Cape Cod Bay, especially since you have all of those things there. You can't do that. I know they're going to say, oh, it's going to be very, very diluted. It's going to be super diluted that you can't even measure it. This is going to be way below. I know exactly what they're going to use as an excuse. You can't do it. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Paul Fleming says, Lindsey Graham and Rudy were subpoenaed by the Georgia grand jury. Yes, I read that. Daniel Edo says, nope, conservatives rightly understand that abortion resides within the states. Now that also means we will seek state laws over a federal law. No. Mr. McConnell said they will try to have it nationalized. That is out of the mouth of Mitch McConnell. You guys only like state rights when it benefits you, and otherwise you want to control what everybody else does. That's just the way it is. Like guns, right? Guns, why not leave it to the states, right? Leave guns to the state. Nope, because it's a constitutional right. Well, they had said that abortion was a constitutional right through the privacy clause. But no, you don't want to use a privacy clause, but you want to make unfettered access to guns because You want to consider one person a organized militia? Really? Come on now. The hypocrisy never ends. AC Rodriguez says, you mean kind of like voting rights should be up to the states? That's what they believe in. Julie Henderson's 17th Amendment allowed citizens to vote, not state legislatures. Yeah, I think that's what I said before. Let's see what else. E2247 says, Fulton County grand jury subpoena for Kenneth Chelsbro contains some new details about his work in Georgia. Thank you for putting that out there. Let's see if that was who's that from? Okay, that's not from any. Okay, great. Daniel Edo says, replying to Daniel Edo, no, voting rights or civil rights are properly covered under the Constitution. Voting laws are state level. Pobrecito. Our NBC News from Michael Wren. Rudy Giuliani, Lindsey Graham subpoenaed by grand jury in Trump election probe from the Fulton County, Georgia. Yes, that's true. Welcome aboard, Bridge. Awesome. I think I just saw somebody new come aboard. Oh, Peggy Lopez, welcome aboard. Bridge MCP, awesome float. She likes our float. Thank you. Lee Grant says, hey all. Lee, I hope you participated in something yesterday. AC Rodriguez says, so why is a woman body autonomy not her right? It should be. It absolutely should be. All right. Yep. Saw the Boston idiots in masks. Peggy Lopez says, hi all. The U.S. has bad at least 314 mass shootings in 2022. Imagine that. More shooting than days so far. Mass shootings. Can you believe that? It's amazing, isn't it? Simply amazing. All right. We got, boy, you guys are wearing me down with reading all this stuff. Rhinebeck, thank you. Rhinebeck, New York. Thank you, Brother Lee Grant. Are you from New York, Lee? I know you live in Texas now, right, Lee? By the way, I forgot. I have the, for those of you that are in Texas or in my vicinity that want to sign up for our doodle, I want to give you the doodle link. I forgot to put it out there. Bruce, I don't think you've signed the doodle link yet. I see Norman Waters, Bill Nunn, myself, and somebody else. So let me go ahead and put that doodle out there again. Share, how do I get that? Copy the link. Okay, here is a doodle to set up our meetup, guys. Here is a doodle. Please check it out if you're in the Texas area so that we can meet. If you, the sooner the better I can announce it, or otherwise I may have to extend it yet another week. I'll rather not, because I promise you guys, let's have a meetup. Let's have a meetup. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I saw somebody new come on in. If I missed you, please let me, bear with me 1 second, and then I'll go to the videos, but let's do this real quick. Let's see, I'm coming down. All right. Courtney, oh no, I don't think I am, Courtney. I think I'm fine. All right, continuing with the program. Julie Henderson talks about the 17th. Daniel Ado continues, and I'm coming down. Lee Grant says, hey all, Peggy Lopez. I'm coming down. All right, I'm down. Yvette Avery Herod says, I'm in the house. Afternoon, PDR Posse, Bleach MCP, Rhinebeck, Lee. That's it. Yes. Okay. Peggy Lopez says firearms have become one of the leading causes of death of Americans of any age, and according to the Giffords Law Center, they are also the leading cause of death for children below the age of 18. And you know what? It's so fantastic that these people who claim they are for life support having an instrument that kills more people than just about anything else. Bruce says, my wife was walking with Be Smart about gun safety group near the end, then went on the table with recycling group, Keep Kingwood Green. You know, man, she is a workhorse. Tell her thank you for doing all the right things, buddy. Tell her thank you, Bruce. All right, let's see. Daniel Edo says, blacks and women both have voting rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Well, we have to remember that until we had the 19th Amendment, women couldn't vote. Until black people were made citizens with the 14th Amendment and the 13th Amendment, they couldn't vote. So let's get it clear here. You can talk as much as you want that the Constitution guaranteed it. Well, it seemed to me like we had to have amendments to ensure that women could vote and that black people and other minorities could as well, right? You know, I mean, a lot of states had it as their laws that you had to be a citizen who owned land. After they stole a lot of land, of course, they could go ahead and vote and others couldn't, right? All right, Sydney says, The U.S. has never been an actual democracy. You are absolutely right. There's a long history of voter suppression and racism, always limited the voting population, democracy for the few. Exactly right. And that's what the Republicans are trying to do again. Sister Jan says, Egghead is married to the Democratic plantation. Okay. Sister Jan, did you want to upset me? That doesn't upset me. It just makes me feel a bit concerned about you. But, you know, I love you, Sister Jan. I still love you. I hope that you continue to watch our programs and that some seeds will be planted. I hope so. AC Rodriguez says, really? Please post. I would like to see, as I remember, it was something the effect 3/5 of a person. You actually are correct. AC Rodriguez, it was 3/5 of a person, and guess what? Couldn't vote. That 3/5 of a person couldn't vote. At least Egberto is a real person, sister. Thank you. Sister Jan says, defund the police and soft on crime. Woke has been a disaster. Actually, nobody has defunded any police. And what has been asked for is to say, instead of filling up the police coffers with monies that have proven not to work, maybe we should create some programs that actually divert some of that money to help people with psychological problems. I mean, you're the guys who said the AR-15 problems are not the gun, it's a psychologist. So therefore, it's not cops that are going to solve that problems. We need psychologists, and we need all those. You guys are so inconsistent. I am hoping to bring some consistency to you, Sister Jan. But someday it may happen. Roth Tibarus Kane says, fascist theocracy is coming soon. You youngsters better get out and vote. I agree, sir. That is great information, Tyrus Kane. Please remember to give us a thumbs up. Sister Jan, states do have voting rights. Dum-dum. States do have voting rights. Oh, Lord, help Sister Jan. A transgender shooter now. Wow. I just find it ironic how you guys constantly attempt to find scapegoats, right? So does everyone think wind energy is totally green? Please see. You know, you're consistently trying to debunk certain things that are obvious. Oh, because you're going to use a few things that aren't 100% green. It is greener than oil, carbon, and everything else. Eric, please try to be a bit more objective and sensible. You know what I mean? All right, what else have we got here? Para ver, my area getting 27 wind turbines Thursday. All right. That's going to be very good. Daniel Lado says, 19th Amendment ratified a century ago, 1820, is often hailed for granting American women the right to vote. Yes, it has. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution granted African Americans the right to citizenship, right? And only citizens can vote. So therefore, pre that, black folk, meaning black men, couldn't vote because, again, women couldn't vote, period, right? All right, the 15th Amendment in 1870, it says the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by United States or any states on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Missing there was gender, which the states used just fine, and genders couldn't vote. Simple. That's why we needed the 19th Amendment. It's not rocket science. All right, let's continue. Egberto, mind putting on the screen. What is it that you want, Redden? Adults without voter ID, and this is why they like voter ID. That's a good one to put up there. You know, you don't have to claim racism when you just say we need voter ID. 25% of blacks, 20% of Asians, 19% of Latinos, 18% earning, and whites, only 8% don't have voter IDs. You want to see how you supercharge or make an election imbalance? There you go. And guess what? It's not only that there's a lesser percentage, it's since the population is over 60% white, that is an overarching supply of voters that diminish the voting strength of all the rest. You know, you can't lie about numbers, you know. You can lie about statistics if you do it correctly, but you can't lie about numbers like this. Thank you very much, Redden. That was a very, very good one for me to put on the screen, sir. All right, let's see what else we got here. Daniel Edo says, amendments are the Constitution. I agree with you, Daniel. You're absolutely right. Michael Ren says, Egberto, I don't. The account is a fraud. Which account? Let's see. What did I miss? Egberto, mind putting this on the screen? Sister Jen needs to see it. I just went ahead and put it on the screen, sir. Let's see what else we have here. Eric Hayes, Minnesota defunded their police and might defunded their. Oh, right. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Uh, let's continue. Lee Grant, replying Maywood. Let's see. Peggy Lopez says, new. Abortion ruling claims abortions was not legal with origin the Constitution, so even voting for non-white men can be taken away by this court. True. Egberto, as I told Michael, Sister Jam is a bot. No person behind it. Just sent her to troll. Okay, thank you very much. And Michael Redden, you can feel free to do that as well, right? You have control of, both you and Breach have control of the account, assuming that she's really a troll. Please verify. Tom C says, Daniel Ado, USA is both a democracy and a republic. As a democracy, we the people hold ultimate power. We are not a direct democracy, but we are a representative democracy. I believe, let's see what else we got. Breach MCP says, Eric, this took 3 years in the making. It's New York, extremely regulated. Egberto, Sister Jan's account is a fraud. It's a bot, so take care of it. Sydney, a democracy would allow everyone to vote who is a citizen. Why not just register everyone when they're born and activate the registration at the legal voting age? Because we don't want everyone to vote. Sydney, that's the statement of the day. Okay, the first video that I want to show you is of Representative Kinzinger. What he had to say about governor, because this is something that we want to see. Check this out, then we'll take it on the other side as soon as I put this in the right frame. Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, was interviewed by Dana Bass, CNN's Dana Bass. She asked her a whole lot of questions, but basically she's also asked her, did Donald Trump has sharing a responsibility for January 6th? And of course she said no. And what about that 10-year-old girl who got pregnant by some dirty old man and had to leave South Dakota for an abortion? Oh, it hurts me so bad. Are you going to change the law? Well, so they really don't care. But it's the dysfunction within the Republican Party is palpable. And the change in people's values to match that of Donald Trump, because they are so scared of his base, is palpable. Well, you know what? Kinzinger, Adam Kinzinger, Representative Adam Kinzinger, he hit Governor Kristi Noem pretty hard because he said, I know this woman. I knew this woman. And you know what? Check out what this woman has become.
Member of the January 6th committee, Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. Congressman, I want to get your reaction to what you just heard from the South Dakota Governor, Kristi Noem, particularly on January 6th, talking about the fact that she didn't think specifically that the former president had any blame. She said everybody has blame, but she also put into question the credibility of Cassidy Hutchinson. Your response?
Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away. This is not, I served with Kristi Noem in the House, and it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is not the Kristi Noem I served with. Kristi Noem I served with, was conservative, dedicated to truth. I at the time would have put her country above her political career at any moment. It is clear. Look, Dana, it is clear she is running for president or vice president. She's scared to death of the base. And for her to call into question, a 26-year-old patriot who stood in front of the committee alone and told the truth, and then to avoid saying that Donald Trump bore even an ounce of responsibility for January 6th, I get amazed still every day by what some of my colleagues do. This is one of the biggest ones. She used to be something very different.
In other words, she used to be sane. She used to have values. She no longer has them. That is what happens when you have the total takeover of a party by some evil being. And that is exactly what has occurred to the Republican Party. I heard on TV today on several of the news channels, Republicans, true conservative Republicans coming out and saying, we have to have a restart. We have to have a rebirth. But in the short term, it's not happening. In the short term, it's not going to happen. And it is for Democrats and progressives not to allow this to go by and do what they need to do in 2022. Else, we'll probably pay a fairly significant price, and likely one that is fairly permanent. We spend
Politics
a lot of
done right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet seeded with blogs and information to counter the right and to present what progressives represent for the benefit of us all to everybody, so that it's not misread, misled by any other entity. We make sure and populate that internet with blogs, with videos, with all these other things to make sure that we are informed and to counter everything that you normally hear that are lying at the right. We also make sure to create articles in magazines, articles in newspapers all around the country to ensure, again, that our message gets out there. Last but not least, we also write books. As you see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom, How to Make America Utopia, are two of the many books that I've written on these issues. So please support us in one of many ways. Numero uno, you can support us at PayPal, either one time or monthly. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can support us on Patreon. That is politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. You can support us by becoming a part of our YouTube channel, going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, or you can support us in many other forms that you can find at politicsdoneright.com/support. Be sure to visit our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. Politics Done Right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one.
Yes. We depend on you. So please, folks, please go to those links that I've also populated as the speech as we're going on. Please go to the links. politicsdoneright.com/support has a amalgamation of all of them. But if you want to get my books, and my books really are worth a read, go to politicsdoneright.com/books. By the way, I am going to, I am funding my trip to Pittsburgh. My trip to New York was funded by the organization who wanted me to go out there and speak. So that has been taken care of. But my trip to Netroots, where we get full representation, where we get to talk to all the activists and the progressive politicians, progressive activists, and progressive name changers out there, we got a coveted space on Radio Row. So right now we are collecting on our Netroots GoFundMe to support this particular trip. Please go ahead and support us at politicsdoneright.com/netroots. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/netroots. We've had some, let me go ahead and see how it's going. We've had some very good support. I think I probably have some what is the word? I think I have some thank yous that I have to send out there. If you haven't gotten my thank yous yet, then it is forthcoming pretty soon. Yeah, let me put that on the screen. It's looking pretty good. A little slower than I expected, but these are difficult times for some. So here we go. That is our Politics Done Right Netroots GoFundMe. Please go ahead and click the link I have in the stream, politicsdoneright.com/netroots, to help ensure that you are being a part of what we are going to do at Netroots. We're going to be transmitting live often from there. What I'm going to do, I am trying to do the sort of setup that you guys allowed me to have at my daughter's apartment in DC, so that we can do several live clips as I'm doing certain things here. So I'm getting ready to do a mock-up here in the studio as far as how that new one is going to set up. We're going to have a new setup in the way we do it. Michael Rodnin, you are actually a wonderful person. Thank you so kindly for supporting us. With AOC is how I found your channel. Oh, really? Yeah, I interviewed AOC, and I was the first person who interviewed her to tell her she was going to beat that guy that was going to be, or should have become, right, the the leader of that was going to be, that he was supposed to be this next speaker. Nancy Pelosi was setting him up to be the next speaker. And she came and she was all wide-eyed, and I interviewed her twice. The first one, the acoustic was horrendous. And I said, you know, I went to her manager and I said, hey, can I get her again? And he said, oh, she'll do it again. She wants to talk to you. Because we did part of it in Spanish and all that kind of stuff, right? And people were excited. And I told her, you know, you have what it takes to win, girl. And by God, when she won that night, it's funny, I could reach her at any time until that night that she won. And at that point, everything shut down. I can't even get to her manager anymore. I have his number, you have to go through all these procedures now. It's amazing. But you know what? She won. She won. She won. And we are going to be meeting a lot of folks out there that are going to be the next AOC or going to be the complement of AOC as we go out there. So please consider going to politicsdoneright.com/netroots. politicsdoneright.com/netroots. I got another video for you. This is an important one. Ali Velshi talks about, well, I'm going to let Ali Velshi tell you. Let's get busy. Here it goes. The Supreme Court has effected a reign of terror. So says Ali Velshi, which most agree with, said there is no land of the free when freedom is extinguished. I want you to listen to this, and then let's take it on the other side.
It's obvious that the Supreme Court made history when 5 conservative justices decided to overturn Roe versus Wade, stripping millions of Americans of a constitutional freedom. But it's actually the first time the Supreme Court has ever taken away a right rather than expanding one. And for those of us who associate positive rights with democracy, the erosion of rights has been underway for years, even without the help of the highest court in the land. From 50,000 feet, it may seem as if rights, especially when you're thinking about gay marriage, have been expanding, but look more closely and you'll realize that personal rights are being steadily chipped away. Voting rights, LGBTQ rights, rights around education, healthcare, elections, you name it. What the Supreme Court of these United States has done has simply been to extend America's recent streak of erasing rights that are inherent to democracy. Overturning Roe v. Wade and leaving abortion laws up to the states makes America an outlier among developed countries. Take a look at this map. These are countries where a person can get an abortion, quote, on request. Now, there are varying limits on how far along the pregnancy is, but for the most part, if you want an abortion in any of these places in green, you can get it. And then there are countries you might be more surprised to find in this group, including Cuba, Argentina, Turkey, Russia, China, and I hope you're sitting down for this one, North Korea. Even in some countries that embrace authoritarianism and have horrible records on human rights and the treatment of women, abortion is still available on request. Now, here's a look at a map where abortion is outright prohibited. It's actually a smaller map than you'd think. Egypt, Iraq, Madagascar, the Philippines, Sierra Leone, Senegal, and a few others. The rest of the world varies, with laws that allow abortion under a range of circumstances, including when saving a life or preserving a person's health. This is where America falls, somewhere in between Sweden and Sierra Leone, somewhere between a full ban and fully legal. That's because since the reversal of Roe v. Wade, it's tough to characterize the legal status of abortion in America because it now varies wildly state to state. The right to an abortion, a woman's right to control her own body, no longer has blanket constitutional protection in America, which means that women have rights in China and North Korea that they do not have in the United States of America. This map is actually being generous, giving America too much credit. The U.S. does not deserve to be striped in green and red, depicting a nation that just can't make up its mind. The entire country should be painted scarlet red because it does not matter if abortion is allowed in some states. If it's prohibited in even just one, then America is not truly a free country, because if the rights of one single American are taken away, none of us enjoy absolute freedom as citizens of this country. Regardless of how you feel about abortion, Americans should be deeply concerned at the ease with which 5 Supreme Court justices ripped a constitutional right out from under the American people. This Supreme Court session's reign of terror came to an end this week after a string of decisions that will leave this country battered and bruised for years to come. But this far-right supermajority will be back next session, and the session after that, and the session after that. As long as this those lopsided court rules unchecked by the other branches of government, it will continue to tear down rights and privileges rather than build them up, and it will do so with impunity. The sting of the end of Roe v. Wade should be enough to make you fight for democracy, but in case it wasn't, Clarence Thomas's threat to reconsider the right to birth control, same-sex relationships, and marriages should seal the deal. There is no land of the free when freedoms are extinguished.
We remember that there is no land of the free when freedom for anyone is extinguished. And look, we want to take this a little step further. What the Supreme Court did, he spoke about chipping away of our rights one at a time. And he said from a top, it seemed like we were getting better. We got the rights for same-sex marriage, etc. But at the same time, we got or before that, we got personhood, we got McCutcheon, we got all these rules that empowered corporations. And now what are we doing? We're getting all these rules to enforce minority rule. What do we mean by that? Well, the people who control the Supreme Court, they realize that the policies that they stood for, most Americans didn't want. In fact, most Americans, when polled, when not asked about ideology, when polled, they want things that most people need. They want family leave. They want universal health care, meaning Medicare for all, etc. They want to be able to have a basic income for those people who fall through the cracks, for those corporations who pay such a low wage that these people live below the poverty line. In effect, what we're doing is subsidizing corporations when these people have to get services from elsewhere, right? So we want things that are morally good for people. The plutocracy does not. They want to eat it all. They want to take everything. Why do they want it? Because they can. And to enforce that, they have to dilute your vote. They need to ensure that your vote is not supreme. So instead, they make sure that the Supremes, the Supreme Court, can always be there to override your will. And it has begun. Folks, if you don't vote in November, if you don't vote for people who are willing to kill the filibuster, if you don't vote for people who are willing to rebalance the Supreme Court so that it isn't a corporate-driven Supreme Court, but a people-based driven Supreme Court, in other words, the rights of the people, we would have only sealed the deal, only made it clear that we are ready to return, not to hue-based slavery, but permanent indentured servitude for most, the ones not chosen. We spend a lot. Absolutely. So first of all, on the screen, Bridge MCP. Girl, you know how I love you, man. She gave us another super chat. Support Egberto at Netroots. And with exclamations, folks, support Egberto at Netroots. Yeah, please support us at Netroots. We do good work out there. We go out there and we meet all those politicians and we bring it back to you. But not only that, that's where the planning occurs for how progressives are going to win in 2022, in 2024. We do this every year. We've missed 2 years in person because of the epidemic. Last one I went to was 2019. Now we have 2020 and 2021, we had to do it over the Zoom. It wasn't the real thing because you couldn't really have that flesh touch with all those activists that are out there. So please, yes, support us. politicsdoneright.com/netroots. politicsdoneright.com/netroots. Thank you, Breach MCP, for that great super chat. And folks, you can also give us a super chat or a super thanks. On the video, you can click on thanks and say, hey, I give you a little something to support what you're doing here, because we're way behind in the support that we're getting. Michael Rudden also gave us a great support. A lot of you, Bruce Pollard, Nanette Bird Smith, thank you guys. Tom, C, all of you guys are wonderful folks. Let me go ahead and expand and see that. Yep, Tom C, Jill Killiman, Ernesto Rosado, Dan Engelberg, Jan Goodman, Bridge as well, Alistair, everybody, Bruce. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all that you do, guys. Thank you for the support. Let's keep it going. I need to get there. I need to get those numbers up. Don't want to keep on going in debt, blowing everything else to get this done. But we are going to get it done. Anyhow, getting back to business again. Thank you, Bridge. Bridge also has another comment that she wants me to read. And she wants me to read it so much that she put a whole lot of greater signs saying, hey, shout out to us. I will. Egberto Willis, again, we are die hard here. Yes, we are. Right or left, whatever, we were here yesterday, although you did not moderate. PDR Posse. I want to remind you of something, Breach. Even though I did it wasn't a rerun really. It was a show that I prepared with a lot of outtakes from other shows, but I also had a preamble, a postamble, and in between. But here is the thing. What have I always said to all of you? This is your show, and I mean it. That's why I start out in the beginning of the show reading the stuff you guys want to talk about. I have a full show prepared. It doesn't matter if I get to the full show that I prepared, because if the posse is in the house, that's what wins. The posse wins, right? I try to get the videos out like if I need to get something out there or whatever, but this is your show. And unlike what others would tell you, now, you may want to ask, well, Egberto, what happens when it blows up and you start to have that many more people? We'll still have the posse, and we'll still have the honorary posse, meaning the posse that has always been the ones that brung us, right? And what does the posse that brung us mean? It means that, there's a certain amount of respect that you're owed. You brung us, right? There's a certain amount of respect that you're owed. So you guys are always going to be our premier posse, guys, always. Right and left. I'm not only talking about the great, wonderful Bridge MCP, Bruce Pollard, Norman Reynolds, Lynn Halsey. I'm talking also about my right wingers. Daniel Ledo. Daniel Ledo is here all of the time. Daniel is a part of the posse. Let's see who, you guys are all posse, man. Tank Murdoch. Man, you give me hell, but when I see you in person, I'm going to have to slap you around a little bit, brother. You know I'm kidding. But, so I'm talking about Lee Grant. Talking about, who else is here? Daniel Ledo says, Egberto, dreaming of an actual audience. LOL, let's fantasize about winning the lottery next. Let me just tell you, Daniel, my live audience is problematic. I don't have a large audience, live audience. But you ought to see the podcast audience, okay? That is why all the people, the journalists and others send me every day people for interviews. Just to let you know how this stuff works. I know you don't quite know how it works, but that's how it works. I just wanted to put that in there because you may give the impression to the live audience that that's it. Just want you to know, Brother Ledo. Okay? Just want you to know. Check us out on Spotify, elsewhere in all those places. It's okay. Anyhow, let's continue the program. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. I need to go up a little further. Norman Reynolds says, Democrats are not responsible for the actions and craziness the GOP. I think the GOP base has just got to control their politicians who are scared to lose power. The politicians would rather fulfill the authoritarian bent of the base rather than the democracy of the hysterically active U.S. I think there's some I think you're right about that, Norman. I think you're right about that. Egberto Willis, make this a T-shirt. Okay, let me see what Bridge wants to make a T-shirt. Oh, okay. Well, you know what Bridge wants to make a T-shirt. This is Bridge's design. She wants this to be a T-shirt. It will be, Bridge. Consider it done. We'll make it a T-shirt. We're gonna make it a T-shirt as well. I'm gonna take it, clean it up, make it a T-shirt. Is that the original? Do you remember where? I think I got the original somewhere, so I'll make that the T-shirt. So, all right, sis, you got that. All right, let me show you guys. I don't think I showed you what Bridge is talking about. This is what Bridge is talking about. She says, Egberto, make that into a T-shirt. That's my design. You got it, girl. That'll be a T-shirt. All right, what else are we doing here? Let's back up. I got some more videos. Let's see. I got time for one more video. I'm going to show it, and then we'll take it on the other side. America prides itself as a democracy, specifically a representative democracy, a republic. That's what we claim. We claim that all people have equal rights. One of our members, Bridge MCP, sent me a video that really, in 1 minute, said everything we need to know about American democracy. And what's interesting is, right after I saw the video, Michael Moore, on 4th of July, his newsletter, Substack newsletter, and I probably should put this in my Substack newsletter, had this piece, this 1 minute piece by Mick Wallace, who is the left group in the European Parliament. He represents South Ireland, I believe, in the European Union. And what he said is such a perfect encapsulation of who we've become and what we have to fight for to move forward. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Why are we so quiet about challenging the US when they threaten human rights? Some people have said in here, oh, we can't be, how dare we talk about the US? Well, we talk about everybody else. Is the US a functioning democracy? Well, let's have a look at it. It costs $2 billion to become president. They have 25% of the total prisoners in the world. They spend over $800 billion a year on arms, which is more than most of the world put together. They've been at war for 250 years since their state was formed 275 years ago. But they can't afford universal health care. They can't afford the 1.7 trillion debt forgiveness for students. They can't afford a program for the 17 million children that go to bed hungry. Is this a functioning democracy? What's your idea of a democracy? Bernie Sanders wasn't even allowed to win the nomination for the Democrats. The Americans couldn't spell democracy.
Now, a lot of people would get upset. This foreigner is speaking down on America. But you know, America always talk about the democracy, the false democracy in other people's country. We always talk about the other problems in other countries. But you know what we've always failed to do is self-reflect, to see what we need to improve on, and to see how the rest of the world think about us, and to understand why the rest of the world thinks the way too often about us. I mean, too often we are there telling everybody what they need to do to make their democracy a real democracy, a democracy for all. But what we see in America is not only a democracy that is failing in its current state, but a democracy that is structured to further fail and transition into a full-blown fascist state. So I think it's a good thing for us to listen to foreign politicians who have the guts to speak out against Americans, because look, he's a left-winger. But there are many moderates around Europe, many moderates around Latin America, many moderates in the Caribbean who would tell you straight out, look, before you preach to us, take care of home. Before you tell us what we need to do to improve our democracy, maybe you should make yourself into a real democratic republic. Because right now what we have is we are on a path to fascism, but it's worse because there is a sect in this country that will not allow fascism to reign, and it doesn't speak well for where we're heading. We absolutely not. It doesn't speak well for where we're heading. Anyhow, folks, Tom has a good one here. He says, hey, theocratic misogynist, a non-viable fetus is not a baby. So keep your archaic medieval religious beliefs inside your intolerant church and out of the doctor's office, the courtroom, and the bedroom. That's a very good one. I love that, Tom. Lee Grant says most people are pro-free stuff. I don't know those people. Most people I know in this country want to work. Most people want to work. All right. But you see, you guys find scapegoats and try to project that onto others. And the people that aren't working in this country are the super capitalists. They use you as slave labor. They just don't tell you that's what it is. They make money off of your excess labor, and you come and you say, could you take some more? Reduce your taxes, and we'll do it for you. Boy, the amount that we have to learn about how this system screws us all, it's simply amazing. Simply amazing. But you know what? That's why we have Politics Done Right, so that we all learn together. All right, let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Let's see. Daniel Perez says, he's so right. Thank you, Daniel. I hope you're talking about what we're talking about in the videos. Thank you so kindly. Daniel Edo replying to Eric Hayes. His CB handle is Kingwood Comrade with a K. Okay. Do you like that? Do you like that handle, Bridge? Kingwood Comrade? Sydney says, it feels like my great-grandfather made a big mistake leaving Kent, UK. I wouldn't mind being there now. Very few guns, national health care. I hear you, boy. I hear you, Sydney. I know what you mean. We're going to get there. What we have to do is get over this fascist hump. And once we get over this fascist hump, we'll be okay. Daniel Perez says, or Perez, I think the tilde is on the E, says facts. All right, Bree says, yeah, the pink t-shirt and here rather a hippie than a fascist. Exactly right. Exactly right. AC Rodriguez says, this is the poisoning of America exceptionalism. When you think you are the best and brightest of everything, you disregard all other sources of information and knowledge. That is an important statement for us all to remember, and I always remember that. That's why I listen to all sides. Lee Grant Egberto is a good source for information as to how evil the U.S. is. No. I mean, there is a lot of good in the U.S. Yvette Avery Errett says he doesn't have to be an American to make the assessment and speak the truth. There you go, Yvette. Absolutely correct. Let's see what else we got here. Bridge says, thanks for playing that. Egberto was important, Bridge. When you found it, I knew I was going to play it. And then I also saw it on Michael Moore's Substack. Daniel Perez says American exceptionalism is a farce. We've known that for a while, you know, Senor Perez. It's amazing. Egberto doesn't own a business that employs people. The rest of us are having a hard time finding people willing to work to put fire. Okay, let's stop right there. It's time. My time is up, but I want to address what Daniel just says. Daniel just says Egberto doesn't own a business that employs people. Not true. Not true. I purchase my internet services. I purchase all these other services, including manufacturing that hires people. So the service that I provide, being a broadcaster, is responsible for having a lot of people. Thank you very much for having been here, AVQ, for having hired people. Now you may say, I don't hire people individually. That's true. Now when I ran Willie's Computer Software Company, I would hire private consultants to do certain pieces of the work. But most of the work I did myself. That's the difference between capitalism and free enterprise. I designed the books, I wrote the books, I wrote the software, I debugged the software, I did everything. So therefore, I was not a parasite as, let's say, the oil company executive is, who has everybody else working, wants to hire everybody else to do the job. He sits down in an office and gets paid off of what he didn't pay you, as he tries to short your money. So, Daniel, what you're saying continues to have the mentality of the enslaved, and that's what I'm trying to get out of your mind. You see, making a fool of yourself, Egberto, please stop. No, again, you still have the mind of an enslaved. You don't have the hue of the American enslaved, original enslaved, but you do have the mind of the enslaved. My name is first of all, folks, please don't forget to support our GoFundMe. We need your support rather like now. So let me put that in there again. Please support our GoFundMe, politicsdoneright.com/netroots. And my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.